Oh, goody.
Alright, what's going on everybody? Zombies here again, and we are back with another heroic bounty video. This is the last of the main heroic bounties needed to get the first 6 of the new mercenary drops. Obviously we can't get Leroy's done until we get that last boss, which will be after the Leroy event ends, which is starting next week. And so yeah, so for this one, basically this boss really isn't that hard. We just really want to have a way to scale up our damage. So ended up going with Holy Comp for this. You could probably also use Nature or maybe even something with Chi-Ji. Anything that can consistently scale up your damage because Onyxia has a way of preventing spell damage. So that's kind of what you want. We're using Holy Comp here. So for clearing through the bounty, we have Anduin. I used Ring of Purity mainly for the last fight. I don't think you need to do this. You can probably get away with using the Harmonic Mallet and it's just fine. I did like having the extra HP in the final fight, but it might not be needed, so your call there, whichever you want to use. Cornelius is purely there to just protect Anduin and Velen on the way up to the boss. Don't really need him in the boss or anything other than that, but we do have a little bit of additional health restore here. You could also run the passive take less damage. And then Velen, we do have restoring more health to the characters. Again, this is kind of your call. You could also use splitting light damage, as the damage might make it ever so slightly faster, but really you can choose what you want for this fight. It's not super required. Now it is important to remember you do need the characters in the party to get the item unlocks for them. The two for this one are Onyxia and Vanndar here, so if you want to get it done all at once, you can just throw these two in the back, and you will get both of their item unlocks. Zyrella is our third party member for the boss fight. We just want another good holy unit that can help heal us up, and decreasing the attack is also pretty useful, so we are using Radiant Wand on her, as Onyxia does sometimes swing in. But overall, this is a pretty easy fight. We're going to get into it here. If you enjoy the content though, do remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot and keeps the merc stuff coming. So without further ado, let's get into the bounty. Alright, so getting into the regular fights here. Again, pretty much like all the fights in this one, these really aren't that hard. Honestly, you might not even need Cornelius to kind of do this, but I thought it was a little bit of extra security, protecting the units that we actually need to have stay alive until the final boss fight, as we do need our full Holy Comp to kind of beat that and guarantee that none of our stuff is going to get quickly whittled down by Onyxia or any of the ads that she summons. But overall, again, pretty easy getting through here. I don't think we lost a merc at all. Cornelius just did a good job of protecting our high value targets, and then we just AoE them to death. Again, you could probably do this a bit faster if you do have the damage equipment for Anduin's Holy Nova. Totally a good option to use. I forgot to switch it out at the beginning, but both are good for this, so use whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever you have leveled, right? So again, it's just really, really easy. Like, I don't know if it's because they deal less damage or what it is, but something about the regular fights in this one are just like, I wouldn't even say it's like half as hard as the Alterac Valley fights. Those ones really give you a run for your money, whereas these ones do not. In terms of equipment though, any holy damage you see, definitely grab that. And I was able to get one of those alliance buffs. So basically anything that buffs up your characters, give them a little bit more HP is always very nice, and we are going to want any scaling we can get, as we are going to do a lot of scaling for the fight, since Onyxia has spell damage resistance, so you do need to scale up before you can actually deal significant damage to her. But even if you don't get good treasures for this one, they're really not required. You can just do enough scaling up just by using your holy units with Anduin and Velen, and it should be more than enough to get you there. One thing I did like about the Anduin equipment was that it let him ramp up a huge amount, so that way when Onyxia does get to the immune phase and she deals a bunch of damage the next turn, Anduin is taking that because he is in the middle and he has so much health, he doesn't even blink. So that was pretty nice, did enjoy that. But we are about to get into the boss here. This is our last fight. Worth noting, do not target the fairy dragon here, as it will randomize your attack, and I mean, it's probably not going to mess up your run, but it could take you off guard, so if you don't know that, definitely be wary of that. but it just ran into Cornelius, it dies, and now we are getting to the boss. Alright, and here we are at the boss, Onyxia herself. She has some spell resistance, so we do need to start ramping up that damage, and she will enter immune at a certain phase, and then these whelps, which, you know, after an enemy attacks, summon some whelps. So AoE is our friend here. We're just going to do the full-on holy comp here, pretty much. We don't really need Cornelius for the protection. He was just kind of there for getting through the initial bounty. So basically here, I think we just want to start getting these down. And we're going to shrink the Onyxia. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So the healing passive on Anduin is actually rather helpful here, because we're just going to keep ramping up the damage anyway. It's not that scary. Onyxia is going to swing here, so we do want to shrink her down. But this is kind of one reason I like the healing passive on the Anduin, because he's just going to scale up so high that they're never going to be able to kill him. And that should make this a pretty easy bounty for us. Yep, so they go swinging again. That's fine. Do some damage to us, but again, this is fine. Because now we can just keep holding noving, and it should just get us there. Yeah, so Holy Comp's really good for this one. It just makes it pretty easy. Obviously, this fair amount of damage there, but again, we just have so much healing and sustain here, it really isn't going to matter a whole ton. So we can just keep laying on the damage here. Get that Anduin up to 1,000,000 HP. That's kind of why I like it over the... I mean, the damage is also fine for this fight, but we end up scaling up so much anyway, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. Obviously, you know, they are taking way less damage here because of that health stuff, but doesn't matter. We will get there eventually with our scaling. Slowly chipping away here. But yeah, they just don't have anywhere near enough damage to get this gone. I'm actually curious how big the Anduin's going to end up being at the end. It looks like Onyxia doesn't change the attack for the time being, which is good for us. Alright, so now they're going to summon 2/2 whelps, but again, it doesn't really matter. Hurts Velen a little bit, but we're just going to heal him right back up. And that basically, rinse and repeat, is going to be the Onyxia fight. So kind of interesting that they doubled up all the bounties for this one. I'm not really sure why they did that. It seems kind of strange to me, to be honest, as they didn't really need to. So Onyxia is immune here. Basically for this, we're just going to, can't even target it, so we're just going to do nothing with that. We're going to block with Anduin, and we're going to heal up the Velen, as we do need to keep him alive. And I think it's 2 turns the immune lasts. And so we're just going to double up again. We're actually going to just double up on our heals here. We are going to Holy Nova. So actually we'll do this last. Or do this first, rather. I guess that was unnecessary. We could have just saved it for the next turn. But it's fine. Doesn't really matter. They're going to deal a bunch of damage to the Anduin, but our Anduin has 1,000,000 HP, so it's not relevant at all, and now we can just finish off the fight. So yeah, in general, these fights were way, way easier than Alterac Valley, which, you know, I think it's a good thing for making it easier for people to get through to get the items, but I do miss a bit of that challenge for sure. I did like that Alterac made you think about the fights a little bit more, but hopefully we can get a kind of harder mode eventually to kind of fill in the void. But I think this turn or the next turn should end up doing it for the boss fight. This one takes a little bit longer, but not because it's hard, just because Onyxia has all that spell damage resist, so you're not dealing damage quite as quickly as you normally would. But this should do it. And that will be the last of the bounties we need to get the heroic items. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see the other heroic bounties done. These are the only ones we need to get the items for the characters, so those are the main ones I wanted to focus on. But if you'd like to see guides for the other ones, let me know, and that's something I can do. But here we see we get our rewards. Some decent coins, very nice. And more importantly, our unlocks. So Onyxia gets her Broodmother's Rage, and Vanndar gets his Unstoppable Force. So that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.